Hey guys, it's Sam with CWR. Welcome to the video. In today's video, we'll be discussing Chris Pratt and his workout and diet routine. Before we get into it though, we want to let you guys know if you do enjoy this video, please give it a like and or subscribe to my channel. I do a lot of celebrity fitness videos and try to help you guys get a little insight into exactly what they do to get into shape for, whether it's the runway or a movie or TV show. All right, so let's get right into it. So, if you guys have seen Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt got into amazing shape for it. If you know him before that from Parks and Rec, it was a complete transformation. It was unbelievable what he was able to do. And I think that's what kind of propelled his career a little bit and got him into Jurassic World and all these other roles. So, for that type of transformation, the ultimate goal for Chris was just to get big and get lean. It was a pure bodybuilding mentality type of workout and diet routine. The goal wasn't to the goal wasn't to just get in shape. It was to create this particular style of physique, and that was kind of emulates the bodybuilding mentality. So, as we all know, if you want to get that big, you got to lift weights, and that's going to be a core in this workout. You have to lift weights. And one of the popular ways to kind of cycle, you can't do weights year round, lifting heavy, heavy, heavy. You're going to get really bulky and you're going to get really big. And it's also not very sustainable. So, what we tend to do is we tend to have two phases, a bulking phase and a cutting phase. So during the first phase, you're going to want to focus really on just building muscle mass, getting your strength up, and making sure that you're putting on weight. You don't really care for the aesthetics portion of it. You are going to gain fat as well as muscle during that phase one. It's pretty much impossible to only put on muscle. And, as a result of just trying to get big, you are going to put on a little fat, and it's not going to be the look you're really going for. But then you follow that up with phase two, which is called the cutting phase. And that's where the goal is to preserve as much mass as you can while you cut down on fat and get that shredded look. So that's when your abs will start to show up and you'll get the aesthetics that you really want. So, for the type of exercises, I'm not going to really go into the specifics here. There's numerous resources. I'll give you specific training routines. If you just type in bodybuilding routine or go to bodybuilding.com, there's plenty and plenty of resources. I'm only going to keep the discussion to a high level on what exactly you need to do, and I'll kind of guide you down the right path. So during phase one, you're going to want to make sure that hitting the weights 3 to 5 times per week minimum. You also want to keep cardio to a minimum as well. You don't want to overdo cardio. It's everyone's preference, but in order to compensate for a lot of cardio, you're going to have to eat more food. So if you're not comfortable with that, then I just keep cardio to a minimum. Make sure you're just focusing on the weights 3 to 5 times a week. And then when we switch over to phase two, you're going to also want to keep focusing on the weights. Weights is something that doesn't really you never stop lifting weights for this type of workout or for this type of physique. But you do want to shift over to more compound lifts, something that hits all your major muscle parts throughout the week. And the reason being is our goal is going to be to preserve muscle during that phase two, right? So just by hitting those compound lifts, you're going to really make sure that you're retaining as much muscle as you can while you cut down on fat. And that's also during the phase two is where you increase your cardio level. When you are in a cutting cycle, you do want to start burning as many calories as you can. So that's you start increasing, maybe even adding like a 2-3 mile jog at the end of your weight session. That's pretty much an increased level of cardio for this type of routine. All right, so as we all know, diet is super important. And again, we're going to split the diet into phase one and phase two. So for phase one in the put on muscle and get big phase, you're going to want to eat, eat, eat. And obviously, you want to eat clean, but you need to make sure that you're getting a lot of calories in, and that's above your maintenance. So whatever it takes for you to maintain your weight, you want to make sure you're above that because it comes down to calories in versus calories out. And when it comes to calories in, calories out, you want to make sure that the calories that are coming into your body are higher than the calories going out. That's going to allow your body to kind of start building muscle and know that there is a surplus of protein, surplus of carbs and calories coming in. So you're going to start be able to repair those muscles after a hard workout and start getting bigger. So when you switch over to phase two, you're going to, for the getting cut phase, that's when you want to reverse that equation. Calories in versus calories out. That's when you're starting to cut, you want to make sure calories in is less than your calories out. So you're eating less than the amount of calories you're burning every day. And as long as you maintain a very high protein diet, you're essentially going to be funneling all your protein into maintaining that muscle mass while you're cutting. And that'll allow your body to start focusing on, if you do reduce carbs as well, you're going to start cutting out the sugars and you're going to purely start cutting off fat from your body. So that's going to get you that shredded look. And the time frames for each of these kind of varies from person to person depending on where you're starting at. But in essence, this is the type of cycle that you need to get on if you want to go for that Chris Pratt, for the bodybuilder, for the big guy look. And when done properly, once you hit the end of that cutting phase, you're going to look absolutely shredded, and it's going to be a pretty awesome transformation. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Again, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like or subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Catch you guys later.